Hey everybody, it's Mike Frieder here with On-Call Compliance Solutions, and I'm back with another compliance tip of the week. Today we're talking about DFARS NIST SP 800-171 and CMMC. How to do compliant CAD or computer-aided design work from anywhere while meeting the requirements of DFARS, NIST SP 800-171, and CMMC. So hey, if you're a defense contractor who's feeling overwhelmed, tired, and alone, trying to understand all of this DFARS, NIST SP 800-171, and CMMC compliance stuff, I've got great news for you. You found your home here at On-Call Compliance Solutions, where we can help you transform into your company's on-call compliance hero. Let's jump into it. In this week's video, we're going to have a little fun. It's for our manufacturers in the defense space, and particularly the ones who are using CAD or computer-aided design, or really anyone else in the defense industry who has high compute needs, or in other words, the need for high performance computers, something most manufacturers are definitely familiar with and use often. Programs like Autodesk Inventor, SolidWorks, and more, those kinds of applications. And as you know, CAD can be very resource intensive. That is, you need high processing power, high GPU power, etc. And of course, this kind of information is definitely CUI or controlled unclassified information if you live in the world of defense. So these machines and the networks they live on need to be compliant. But what if your current CAD needs to live on a larger primary network that would be very expensive to get compliant? Or what if you have designers that work from home or even at another facility where you don't have enough control to get them compliant? In that case, I'd like to introduce the concept of Azure Government Virtual Desktops, or otherwise known as Azure Government Virtual Machines. It's like AVD or AVM or AV Element OP. You know we love our letters around here. Look, first, I think it helps to have a quick catch up on the concept of Azure Government Virtual Machines and why we love them so much, and why your engineers are going to really love them so much. First, imagine you have a network with 100 computers. Ordinarily, you would have to put compliant solutions in place for those 100 computers. That is, licensing all 100 computers for SIEM, SOC, application whitelisting, blacklisting, antivirus, etc. A lot of solutions that, let's be honest, the average company may not be putting in place for cybersecurity, unless they had to be compliant for this. And yes, it is true, you do have to protect the whole network if there is no segmentation going on, as everything on this network could potentially have access to CUI. But what if we only have 10 users that will actually truly ever access and work with CUI? This too is not an unusual situation. In fact, for many defense contractors, this is actually more likely, as only a small percentage of their revenue and output involves CUI. In those cases, it only makes sense to simplify and say, put it in the bubble, or create virtual machines where work with CUI takes place and stays away from our existing primary environments. What's the result? Well, number one, a huge cost savings. And with On-Call's assistance, we can help you truly master the scaling approach to cost savings. As an example, for those same 10 users, we would create a pool of resources. Let's call it 2 virtual machines, and then allow those 10 users to log into these 2 virtual machines on an as-needed basis, only using the resources that they need. That's right, 10 users might only require paying for 2 total virtual machines, even when you're working with CAD. Don't you wish you could do that in your office today? I mean, that would be awesome and cut your cost by 1/5, or maybe 4/5. I'm not really sure because division wasn't really my specialty in school. Now, take it a step further and we begin to realize that with Azure Virtual Machines, there is no hardware to buy, maintain, or to fail on us. Wow, it's like, wait a minute, hey, this sounds pretty awesome, especially when it comes to AutoCAD machines, because we all know that those high-end video cards are great until they break after 6 months, because they all do. So, here comes my very favorite part of all. The DoD's Office of the CIO has stated that as long as there is no resource redirection going on to an unsecured resource, this method of creating a secure enclave, or as we like to say, the bubble, is totally compliant and okay to access from even unsecured and non-compliant devices. It's a huge win. Now, you don't have to worry about compliance on your local machines anymore. Heck, you don't even have to worry about whether your employees are using their own BYOD or bring your own device anymore, because, well, it's okay. The work with the CUI, it just happens in the cloud or in the bubble. Honestly, I have to tell you, it's probably our new favorite way of helping clients get compliant. Why? Because there are so many advantages to it. Okay, so now that you have the background out of the way, here comes the biggest question we always get asked. Mike, CAD programs require big processing power and big graphics or GPU power to operate. How are we going to do that in the cloud with a virtual machine or a virtual desktop? So, interestingly, where in years past, high compute, high processing, and high GPU usage scenarios like CAD where a downfall for virtual machines, such as those in Azure Government, modern day Azure Government, basically Azure Government, today it's got it solved. You see, we can now spin up high GPU enabled Azure Government virtual desktops that will actually allow you to only pay for the resources and utilization you need and not pay for anything you don't need. Even better, because there is no hardware layer, you never have to pay for upgrades. You just swap virtual components or they get automatically upgraded with time at the data center. None of which you have to actually worry about. It just performs. Believe it or not, you can actually spin up the Azure Government virtual machine faster than you can order one from a store and be up and running. Like minutes. You can also just pay for the machine to run for say 20 hours per month and only pay a fraction of the resources that you really need. So if you're only really spending 20 hours a week with that one engineer in your company, this is a really awesome way to do it without having to buy that $10,000 computer. Taking a step further, you could also allow for multiple engineers to be working on the same machine. So there's no more need to invest in as much hardware as there used to be, and it doesn't get outdated. Pretty cool. Nobody ever should tell you about the whole idea that it's also now a CapEx and an OpEx expense too. So there's a whole thing around that. I won't get into tax savings or whatever. But with modern day technology, it just makes sense to get away from high-end hardware locally and do that processing in the cloud. And if you're working in the defense industry, it makes the most sense to work with, wait for it, us here at OnCall to stand up an Azure Government virtual machine setup so that your people can work from anywhere on any device they like and have the processing power and speed they need, and do it all inside of the compliant bubble known as Azure Government, something that is already known to be compliant and acceptable. It's a huge win, huge win. So if you'd like to learn more about it, well, I have good news for you. We can help. Because here at OnCall, we take defense contractors who've had this DFARS, NIST, CMMC, ITAR, and EAR information security compliance stuff dropped in their laps like a seagull on a sunny day, and we teach you how to level up and be a proper on-call compliance hero for your company, eliminating gaps, gray areas, and getting this solved, all while showing you how to leverage compliance as your secret weapon to land more defense work and higher profit margins. Now that's what becoming an on-call compliance hero can do for you. If you're looking for more help getting compliant, our compliance experts are always on call for you. Visit cmmccompliancesecrets.com or check out the description below for links to get help right now. If you love the content we're putting out here for you, help us out with a big thumbs up on that like button, or even better, you guessed it, smash that subscribe button to get the latest compliance content as soon as our compliance nerds roll it out. Until next compliance tip, my friends, stay safe and secure out there, and hit us in the comments below to let us know what you'd like to know more about when it comes to information security and compliance. I'll see you on the next one.